Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will dive deep into the explosive drama unfolding for the week of November 10th, 2025, where alliances shatter, romances ignite, and kidnappings send shockwaves through Port Charles. As the crisp autumn winds sweep over the iconic town, Mayor Laura Collins finds herself teetering on the edge of a full-blown catastrophe that could unravel everything she's fought to protect. Laura's sharp instincts detect the looming threat from the cunning Jen Sidwell, a shadowy figure whose ambitions threaten to engulf Port Charles in chaos, much like a storm brewing over the harbor that no one saw coming. In a desperate bid to counter this menace, the mayor reaches out to a trusted ally from her past enigmatic contact with deep ties to the city's underbelly who promises discreet intelligence that could turn the tide. Perhaps involving long-forgotten secrets from Laura's own history and international intrigue. Adding layers to her turmoil, Laura uncovers disturbing details about Martin Gray's recent maneuvers, actions she previously urged him to abandon by demanding he leave town. But now a wave of remorse washes over her as she realizes the human cost of her tough decisions. This internal conflict might push Laura toward a risky reconciliation, forcing her to weigh loyalty against the greater good for her beloved Port Charles, where every choice echoes through the lives of its residents like ripples in the still waters of the docks. Shifting gears to the younger generation, Emma Scorpio Drake and Charlotte Casadini huddle in a clandestine meeting, their youthful determination fueling a clever plot that could rewrite the rules of their high-stakes game. These two sharp-minded teens, drawing from their respective family legacies of espionage and royalty, brainstorm innovative tactics to assist Rocco Falconeri in securing the elusive key held by Britt Westburn, a prize that dangles just out of reach after his initial setback. By the following week, their refined strategy perhaps incorporating subtle distractions like feigned emergencies or timed diversions positions Rocco for redemption, turning his previous failure into a stepping stone for triumph. Britt's lingering sense of guilt over past betrayals becomes Rocco's secret weapon. He could exploit a moment of her vulnerability, snatching the key during a heartfelt conversation and slipping away with a fabricated alibi, such as claiming a sudden family obligation back at the Falconeri home. This heist not only heightens the tension in their circle, but also explores themes of forgiveness and manipulation as Britt grapples with her role in the unfolding mystery, potentially leading to unexpected alliances that bind the group tighter amid the soap's signature web of deceit. In a pulse-pounding twist, General Hospital spoilers tease the harrowing kidnapping of the indomitable Anna Devane, a development that leaves fans breathless and questioning the depths of danger in Port Charles. As Anna vanishes into the unknown, her colleague Felicia Scorpio dives headfirst into a fresh investigation, one that mirrors the shadowy circumstances of Anna's abduction with eerie parallels in modus operandi and cryptic clues. Viewers are left pondering if these events form a sinister interconnected plot, possibly orchestrated by a rogue faction within the WSB or a vengeful XLI seeking to dismantle the women's formidable partnership from the inside out. Anna's captivity could unfold in a remote, fortified lair filled with psychological traps designed to break her spirit, forcing her to rely on wits honed from decades of covert operations, while Felicia's probe uncovers hidden motives tied to long-buried scandals that resurface like ghosts from the past. This dual storyline amplifies the thriller elements of the soap, blending high-octane action with emotional depth as both women confront their vulnerabilities, ultimately strengthening their bond and setting the stage for a dramatic rescue that reshapes the power dynamics in town. Romance blooms amid the peril as Ava Jerome steps into uncharted territory with a budding connection that promises both passion and peril in equal measure. The glamorous blonde, known for her unyielding resilience, captivates Jen Sidwell with her poised charm and insider knowledge of Port Charles elite circles, sparking chemistry that ignites during a chance encounter at a high society gala overlooking the glittering waterfront. Yet, this liaison walks a razor's edge. Sidwell's history is littered with tragic endings for those who get too close, his former flames meeting untimely fates that whisper of calculated ruthlessness hidden behind a veneer of sophistication. Ava, no stranger to danger herself, with her own trail of bold escapades and narrow escapes, might counter this threat by weaving her own protective schemes, perhaps enlisting subtle surveillance or allying with unlikely confidants to safeguard her interests. Speculation runs wild about whether this flirtation draws Ava back to the foreboding Windermere Castle after years away, a return that evokes haunting memories of isolation and intrigue on the mist-shrouded island, where old ghosts and new desires collide in a symphony of suspense. Their potential pairing dissects the allure of forbidden love, examining how Ava's fiery independence clashes with Sidwell's controlling nature, possibly culminating in a power struggle that either forges an unbreakable duo or shatters them spectacularly. Meanwhile, the evolving bond between Lucas Jones and Marco Rios deepens into something profoundly intimate, challenging the boundaries of trust in their shared world. Marco's heartfelt invitation for Lucas to cohabitate marks a milestone, envisioning cozy evenings in their stylish apartment filled with shared dreams and quiet vulnerabilities, a sanctuary amid the chaos of external threats. However, this step introduces thorny complications, given Sidwell's unexpected presence as a housemate, whose watchful eyes and ambiguous loyalties cast a pall over their domestic bliss, potentially sparking jealous tensions or forced alliances. Lucas might navigate these waters by confiding in close family members like his sister Lulu, seeking advice on blending love with caution, while Marco's WSB background adds layers of secrecy that test their openness. Their story arc delves into modern relationship dynamics, highlighting how external pressures like espionage and family legacies can either fortify or fracture personal commitments, offering viewers a poignant look at vulnerability in the face of uncertainty. Josslyn Jax receives a covert mission that intertwines her personal life with professional intrigue, thrusting her into a web of ethical dilemmas. Tasked by shadowy WSB operatives, Josslyn must leverage her long-standing friendship with Lucas to extract vital intel on Marco, perhaps through casual hangouts that mask deeper interrogations about his routines and connections. This assignment pits Josslyn's loyalty to friends against her sense of duty, as she uncovers fragments of Marco's double life that could expose broader conspiracies involving Sidwell's operations, inventing a scenario where Josslyn stumbles upon encrypted messages during a visit adds tension, forcing her to decide between reporting findings or protecting her inner circle, a choice that echoes her mother's fierce protectiveness. The narrative explores themes of betrayal and redemption as Josslyn's actions ripple outward, potentially saving lives while straining relationships, and positioning her as a rising force in Port Charles' espionage undercurrents. Carlyle's unyielding pursuit of vengeance continues to simmer, her calculated moves weaving through the town's social fabric like threads in a tightly wound tapestry. Driven by unresolved grudges, Carly orchestrates subtle sabotages, perhaps anonymous tips to law enforcement or whispered rumors in elite circles that inch her closer to retribution against those who've wronged her empire. Her strategy might involve recruiting unexpected allies, like a disillusioned insider from Sidwell's camp, to amplify her impact without direct confrontation, all while maintaining her poised exterior at public events. This revenge saga underscores Carlyle's evolution from impulsive firebrand to strategic mastermind, analyzing how her quest for justice blurs lines between hero and anti-hero, influencing alliances across Port Charles and heightening the stakes for everyone involved. Finally, sparks fly as Michael Corinthos embarks on a promising date with Jacinda Breckel, the evening that blends sophistication and surprise under the stars. At a quaint bistro near the waterfront, their conversation flows effortlessly from business ventures to personal aspiration, revealing Jacinda's intriguing background in international finance that complements Michael's corporate savvy. Yet, beneath the romance lurks potential pitfalls, as Michael's family ties to ongoing scandals could complicate their budding connection, prompting Jacinda to question the stability of stepping into the Corinthos whirlwind. This date sequence offers a lighter counterpoint to the week's heavier plots, dissecting the challenges of love in a town rife with secrets. and hinting at whether Jacinda becomes a steadfast partner or an unwitting pawn in larger games. Next, we will learn about the shocking lab break-in that's set to unravel a web of dark secrets in Port Charles. In the bustling world of General Hospital, where alliances shift like sand and hidden agendas lurk in every shadow, young investigators Emma Scorpio Drake and Giovanni Joe Palmieri are on the verge of a breakthrough that could shake the foundations of the city. For months, these determined duo have meticulously plotted their infiltration of a secretive laboratory, dodging obstacles that seemed designed to thwart their every move, from unexpected surveillance spikes to last-minute betrayals by supposed allies. Emma, with her sharp intellect inherited from her legendary parents, and Joe, the brooding musician turned reluctant sleuth, have shared whispered strategies in dimly lit corners of the hospital, their resolve hardening with each setback. What started as a hunch about unethical experiments has evolved into a full-scale mission, fueled by Emma's unyielding sense of justice and Gio's personal stake in exposing corruption that echoes his own family's troubled past. As the pieces finally align for their daring entry, the acquisition of Britt Westburn's elusive key fob emerges as the final hurdle in this high-stakes game. Charlotte Casadini, the cunning young operative with ties to the infamous Casadini legacy, has pledged her shadowy skills to snag this vital access tool, perhaps leveraging her charm during a tense encounter at a gala or a subtle pickpocket maneuver amid the chaos of daily hospital routines. Yet, if Charlotte's efforts falter under the weight of her own divided loyalties torn between family obligations and this newfound cause backup arrives in the form of Rocco Falconeri, the steadfast son of Dante and Lulu, whose earlier attempts were cut short but whose determination burns brighter than ever. Rocco's insistence on the mission's importance, rooted in his desire to protect the vulnerable and honor his parents' legacy in law enforcement, could tip the scales. Imagine him feigning a maintenance role to get close to Britt's belongings, his heart pounding as he overrides security protocols with a gadget borrowed from an old family contact. Whether it's Charlotte's sly infiltration or Rocco's bold second chance, the key fob is destined to land in Emma and Gio's hands, unlocking doors both literal and metaphorical that have remained sealed for far too long. Timing their strike with surgical precision, Emma and Joe capitalize on the mayoral debate unfolding across town, a spectacle of political fireworks that draws eyes away from the lab's fortified entrance. Picture the scene, sirens wailing faintly in the distance as candidates clash over Port Charles' future, providing the perfect veil for the pair to slip past guards distracted by live feeds and heated arguments. On November 11th, as they breach the threshold, the air thick with the hum of machinery and the faint scent of chemicals, their flashlights cut through the gloom to reveal horrors that eclipse their worst fears. Up until this point, the duo's suspicions centered on Professor Henry Hank Dalton's alleged illegal animal testing cruel procedures on lab rats and primates that violated every ethical boundary, but the reality staring back at them paints a far grimmer portrait. Rows of cryogenic pods line the walls, perhaps containing not just animals, but shadowy figures in suspended animation, hinting at human experimentation tied to experimental serums aimed at extending life or enhancing abilities, reminiscent of the Casadini's own forbidden research. Emma's hand trembles on Gio's arm as they uncover encrypted files detailing side effects like memory loss and uncontrollable rage, suggesting Dalton's project has ensnared unwitting locals, maybe even familiar faces from the Quartermain Circle or Metro Court staff, drawn in under false pretenses of medical trials. This revelation forces a deeper dive into Dalton's motives. Is he a rogue scientist driven by grief over a lost loved one, or a pawn in a larger conspiracy involving corporate giants eyeing Port Charles as a testing ground? The shockwaves from this discovery ripple outward almost immediately, sending Britt Westburn into a frenzy of protective instincts. On that very same November 11th episode, as alarms subtly trigger or a misplaced sensor alerts her pager, Britt, ever the survivor with her web of secrets from past misdeeds, bolts from her routine rounds, her white coat flapping like a cape in a storm. She races through sterile corridors, mind racing with possibilities. Has her carefully guarded research been compromised, exposing vulnerabilities that could drag her back into the criminal underbelly she thought she'd escaped? In a bid to contain the breach, Britt might deploy emergency lockdowns or fabricate diversions, all while desperately trying to extract Emma and Joe before they stumble upon irrefutable evidence like a ledger of participant names including vulnerable teens or elderly residents that could ignite a scandal engulfing the entire hospital board. Her panic isn't just professional, it's personal, tied to her own brushes with experimental horrors during her time entangled with the likes of Lisa Lobrecht, making this intrusion feel like a ghost from her past clawing its way back. Complications escalate on November 12th, when an untimely interruption throws the operation into disarray, potentially courtesy of Dalton himself, whose impeccable or disastrously poor sense of timing aligns perfectly with the chaos. Imagine Dalton arriving for a late-night check, his lab coat stained with the remnants of another failed trial, only to confront the intruders amid flickering lights and scattered documents. This clash could spark a tense standoff, with Dalton's calm demeanor cracking to reveal a fanatic's zeal for his work, arguing that his experiments hold the key to curing Port Charles' most intractable diseases, even as evidence mounts of ethical atrocities. Britt, already on edge, turns to the one ally she trusts in crises, Jason Morgan, the enigmatic enforcer whose skills in covert ops and unwavering loyalty have saved her skin before. Their collaboration might involve Jason sweeping in like a shadow, using his network of safe houses to whisk Emma and Joe to safety while Britt scrambles to erase digital footprints hacking logs, destroying samples that could link back to her oversight role in the lab. Yet, this alliance isn't without risks. Jason's involvement draws scrutiny from Sonny Corinthos or the PCPD, weaving the break-in into broader threads of organized crime and family feuds that define General Hospital's tapestry. As the dust settles from this audacious incursion, the fallout promises to reshape alliances and ignite fresh conflicts across Port Charles. Emma and Joe, forever altered by what they've witnessed perhaps, vowing to go public despite the dangers-faced dilemmas that test their bond. Will they confide in Anna Devane for official backing, or keep it underground to avoid bureaucratic tangles? Britt's plea for Jason's help underscores her isolation, hinting at a redemption arc where she confronts her complicity, maybe even sabotaging Dalton's operation from within to atone for past sins. Dalton, cornered yet cunning, could retaliate by framing the young investigators, escalating the drama into a cat-and-mouse pursuit through the city's underbelly. Next, we will learn about the electrifying on-screen reunion that's got Port Charles buzzing. Daniel Goddard's triumphant return as the enigmatic Professor Henry Dalton and his heartfelt reconnection with soap icon Jeannie Francis. Fans of daytime drama have been thrilled since early 2025 when Daniel Goddard, the charismatic Australian actor, stepped back into the spotlight with his compelling portrayal of Professor Henry Dalton on General Hospital, a role that promises layers of intrigue amid the show's high-stakes scientific mysteries. Goddard's journey in soaps is nothing short of legendary, having captivated audiences for over a decade as the resilient Kane Ashby on The Young and the Restless from 2007 until his emotional exit in 2019, where he navigated corporate battles, family secrets, and unexpected twists that kept viewers glued to their screens. What makes this comeback even more fascinating is the serendipitous overlap with his past co-stars, turning a simple casting choice into a web of nostalgic connections that could reshape Port Charles' narrative landscape. In a move that's pure soap opera magic, one of Goddard's former on-screen family members from Y&R has now crossed paths with him on the GH set, adding a delicious layer of familiarity to his villainous new persona. The actor in question, none other than Jeannie Francis, the enduring force behind Laura Collins, who has been the moral compass of Port Charles for decades, embodying strength, vulnerability, and unyielding determination in the face of endless crises. Goddard recently shared a candid snapshot on social media featuring himself and Francis, their smiles radiating genuine excitement amid the bustling studio lights. Reunited, and it feels so good, he captioned the post, going on to reflect on their shared history. Jeannie Francis, a true TV legend, was my TV mom on The Young and the Restless, and now I have the honor and fortune of working with her again on General Hospital. Only this time, maybe she's my nemesis. This playful tease has ignited fan theories everywhere, pondering if their mother-son bond from Genoa City will evolve into a tense rivalry in Port Charles, where alliances shift as quickly as the tides. Diving deeper into their why and our chapter, Jeannie Francis stepped into the role of the formidable Genevieve Atkinson from 2011 to 2012, a character who brought fierce maternal energy and a whirlwind of drama to the Atkinson family saga, clashing with rivals while fiercely protecting her son Kane through betrayals and narrow escapes. Her time as Genevieve was marked by intricate plot lines involving hidden agendas and emotional reckonings, showcasing Francis's talent for portraying women who balance vulnerability with unbreakable resolve, qualities that have defined her across soaps. Complementing this family dynamic was the late Tristan Rogers as Colin Atkinson, Kane's scheming father, who appeared intermittently from 2010 to 2019, weaving a tapestry of international intrigue and paternal redemption arcs that often left fans on the edge of their seats. Rogers' final on-screen moment as Colin aired on August 26, 2025, just days after his real-life passing on August 15th, serving as a poignant farewell that honored his decades-long contribution to daytime TV, from his iconic role as Robert Scorpio on GH to his why and our villainy. This crossover history now fuels speculation. Could echoes of the Atkinson family's turbulent past subtly influence how Professor Dalton and Mayor Laura interact, perhaps hinting at unresolved tensions bleeding into their new professional clash? For longtime Y and R enthusiasts, witnessing Goddard and Francis side by side again is like unearthing a time capsule of golden-era storytelling, evoking memories of heated family confrontations and heartfelt reconciliations that define the CBS soap's peak. Yet, on General Hospital's vibrant canvas, the dynamic shifts dramatically as they embody fresh characters navigating uncharted territory. Dalton as the brilliant yet shadowy professor hiding secrets in his university lab, and Laura as the savvy mayor, always one step ahead in the town's power plays. Imagine the tension building as these two icons share scenes. Will Professor Dalton's cutting-edge research, possibly tinkering with rogue AI technologies that threaten Port Charles' fragile peace, draw Laura's investigative instincts into the fray, forcing a confrontation that mirrors their past but amps up the stakes with global espionage vibes? The Professor's Lab, rumored to house experimental devices capable of altering reality itself, could become a hotspot for sabotage, with Dalton's motives blurring the line between mad scientist and reluctant hero, much like Kane's own moral ambiguities in Genoa City. Picture this expanded scenario as whispers of the AI program's dangers spread through Port Charles devices that could manipulate memories or predict crimes, endangering innocents like the Quartermaines or Spencer's Laura, ever the protector, might stumble upon classified files linking Dalton to the World Security Bureau WSB. Her history with the WSB, from covert ops with Luke Spencer to modern-day alliances, positions her perfectly to infiltrate the professor's world, perhaps posing as a concerned civic leader while secretly decoding his encrypted notes on quantum simulations. But what if Dalton isn't the antagonist he appears? Inventing a twist. Suppose he's covertly developing countermeasures against a larger threat, like a corporate takeover by Casadini Industries aiming to weaponize the tech for mind control, drawing on his Kane-like sense of justice forged in past betrayals. Laura's involvement could pivot from suspicion to uneasy partnership, with tense lab stakeouts where old TV mom instincts surface, leading to moments of reluctant empathy amid exploding prototypes and narrow escapes from shadowy agents. Alternatively, if the nemesis angle takes center stage, Laura's takedown of Dalton might unfold in a multi-episode arc, starting with anonymous tips about lab anomalies, glowing vials, and holographic interfaces that hint at unethical human trials. As mayor, she rallies allies like Anna Devane for a WSB raid, only to uncover Dalton's deeper agenda, protecting Port Charles from an AI uprising by isolating the program in his secure facility. This could culminate in a dramatic council hearing where Laura exposes partial truths, fracturing public trust and sparking riots, while Dalton counters with evidence of her own WSB ties, turning the tables in a battle of wits that tests Francis's commanding presence against Goddard's brooding intensity. Their chemistry, honed from Y and Our Days, promises electric dialogue, perhaps laced with subtle nods to their shared past, like a knowing glance over a reference to family loyalties that leaves viewers decoding every line. Beyond the plot mechanics, this pairing invites broader reflections on soap legacies. How might Laura's evolution from Y and R's Genevieve influence by Colin's manipulative shadow inform her approach to Dalton? Seeing echoes of Kane's struggles in the professor's isolated genius, fans could see a redemption storyline where Laura mentors Dalton away from the edge, or a tragic fallout if his experiments backfire, endangering her loved ones like Kevin or the Spencers. On the flip side, adversarial sparks might ignite a mentor-rival dynamic, with Dalton challenging Laura's authority in ways that expose cracks in Port Charles' leadership, leading to council shakeups or even a mayoral recall election fueled by scandal. Ultimately, the thrill lies in the unknown trajectory of Henry Dalton and Laura Collins' alliance or enmity, crafted by head writers who love weaving real actor bonds into fictional fireworks. Goddard and Francis clearly relish the reunion, their off-screen camaraderie suggesting scenes brimming with authentic tension and warmth. Whether as reluctant partners unmasking AI threats or fierce opponents in a lab showdown that could redefine Port Charles' tech underbelly, would viewers prefer a heartfelt collaboration echoing their Y and Our parent-child warmth, or the juicy conflict of ideological clashes that propel the story into thriller territory? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and stay tuned for more spoilers as this duo's saga unfolds. Who knows? It might just eclipse their Genoa City glory.